Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Across Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. This week, Benin encourages members of the African diaspora to call its shores home. It's gearing up to bring in legislation granting citizenship to descendants of those who left Africa far in the past. Also, banana skins step up the confidence of a Cameroonian startup using the agricultural waste to offer households in the capital a less environmentally damaging kind of charcoal. And the Olympic flame symbolises the light of spirit, knowledge and life, all of which Oumar Diemé, a Senegalese torchbearer for the Paris Games and a former infantryman, has in abundance. The 90-year-old fought for France during the World Wars. But first, Benin wants to offer members of the African diaspora the chance to claim nationality. If approved, the move would see it join countries like Sierra Leone, Rwanda and Zambia in granting citizenship to Afro-descendants from elsewhere in the world who want to reconnect to their roots on the continent.
Delegations from Nigeria, Ghana, Togo and the Antilles arrived to pay their final respects to Mayor Ja, an ecological activist born in the Caribbean island of Guadeloupe, who later became Beninese. For years, she fought tirelessly for the rights of Afro-descendants to be granted citizenship in Benin.
It's a 27-year struggle that is about to come to an end, even though Mayor Ja will not see it.
The return campaigner passed away just 10 days before Cotonou announced plans to officially recognize Afro-descendants as Africans. Her husband and fellow activist, Père Ja, says such institutional acceptance would be hugely significant to the African diaspora.
Today, it's truly our nationality that confirms we're returning as African.
Axaïma Martial is originally from Martinique. After 5 years of residency in Benin, she was recently granted citizenship here by decree.
We have regained our rights. We believe that Benin has made a historic step forward, and it will facilitate the settling and integration of Afro-descendants.
I think that today's relationship between Africa and the Caribbean and the diaspora is a step forward, and this step forward cannot be stopped.
Kamali Insai is originally from Guadeloupe, but now lives in Cotonou. He says that becoming Beninese would make him more confident about investing more money into his business here.
This will give us more confidence. We'll feel more inclined to do business, not recklessly, but in a safer way.
More than 200 million people of African descent live outside of the continent. Many are descendants of the millions of Africans kidnapped and sent to the Americas in a life of enslavement between the 16th and 19th century. Benin's well aware that today its innovation and prosperity could be boosted by returning Afro-descendants.
Now, most of the world's cocoa is cultivated in West Africa, but a shortage in beans has led to a huge surge in global prices, tripling over the last year to top $10,000 per tonne. Now, Ghana is the world's second largest producer, and although the Ministry of Agriculture has raised the amount that farmers can charge for their beans by 50%, many feel that, considering how much market prices have climbed, they're still being shortchanged. Our team reports.
When the government of Ghana announced a 50% increase in farm gate prices for cocoa last April, Nojo Emmanuel, like many of Ghana's cocoa farmers, leapt for joy. However, compared to the price on the world market and the country's increasing cost of living, some still feel shortchanged.
They are buying cocoa at 2,000 cedis, but we know that in the world market is about 8,000. So if the government is buying cocoa at this price, that means the farmers are not getting much. It means the farmers are cheating the farmers.
Cocoa buying centers like this one are common in places like Esikasu, where Nojo lives. Since the price increment, the people here say the business has gone up. Yet, many farmers still have concerns over price, especially as inflation soars due to an economic crisis that the country is currently going through.
Almost by 1 month.
We are using the new prices to buy from the farmers. The farmers are happy. but the truth is only one. If the government increased the prices, it would have been better because the work is difficult and the farmers incur a lot of debt.
Before this new price increment, farmers got paid around 820 euros for a ton of cocoa sold. Now, they get more than 1,300. But past increments have been relatively low and far in between, leaving farmers frustrated.
We believe over the years the price has not been good, so farmers expect that their situation improves significantly from where it used to be. But 158% increase in an income of any investment is very significant.
Aside from the smuggling, Ghana's cocoa volumes have been affected by strong winds and few rains, forcing a 40% drop in expected outputs for the 2023-24 season.
Now, in the push to find more sustainable forms of energy, more people living in Cameroon's capital are turning to biochar. Billed as a more environmentally friendly kind of fuel, it's made from extracting carbon from agricultural waste, in this case, dried banana skins. Our team has more.
3 times a week, Steve leads a team from Stema who collects plantain peels around some Yaoundé neighborhoods. Stema is a company specialized in the collection and transformation of household waste. A ton of waste is collected each time they come around. This is the raw material which will be used to produce ecological coal. Cameroon consumes an estimated 375,000 tons of coal per year.
With the team, we collect the peels. We make sure not to make the peels with plastic. When we get here, we collect the peels. We also collect the stems which we use. We explore the stems separately and the peelings separately to have ecological charcoal.
These banana peels are sun-dried a few kilometers away in this open-air area. The plantain peels are later on burned at very high temperatures to obtain a powder. This is mixed with a stabilizing liquid. This procedure is enough to produce 3 tons of ecological charcoal per month. This small-scale production has 2 aims: recycling household waste and reducing deforestation associated with the use of charcoal.
By producing ecological coal, which is made from waste, which is the raw material which is never in short supply, we can therefore recycle this waste and produce ecological charcoal, which housewives will use. It will also contribute to environmental protection.
Founded in 2020, Stema has gained the trust of a few people such as Elodie. She changed her cooking habits after discovering this eco-friendly charcoal 6 months ago.
This coal does not smoke, it does not leave my pots dirty like regular coal. It's more affordable and has a longer lifespan than normal charcoal.
Cameroon's coal market is worth about 17 billion francs CFA, approximately $28 million a year. The growing demand for energy is threatening forests and accelerating global warming. A vicious cycle that producers of environment-friendly coal made from household waste are trying to reverse.
Around 100,000 Gazans may have crossed over into Egypt since Israel began its retaliatory bombardment of the Palestinian territory in response to a Hamas attack last October. Tens of thousands of civilians have since been killed. Amongst the survivors who have made it to Egypt are some members of the Gazan folk band Makam, who are helping each other come to terms with their enormous loss. Our team sent us this report.
In this small studio in Cairo, these Gazan musicians are rebuilding their lives. Separated since the beginning of the war, they each somehow escaped Israel's bombings of their neighborhoods and by some miracle made it to Egypt. Now back together, they're trying to heal through their music.
When I sing, it's for my country. So far from home, it's a painful and difficult thing to do. But even if I'm not there physically, my soul is still in Gaza. By singing, I want to show all the love I have for my country.
Anas, the group's founder, managed to find a small house in Cairo where he feels safe with his family. But some of his former students from the Gaza Conservatory, like Najla, are still stuck amidst the conflict. They've managed to stay in touch. She studies at the Edward Said Conservatory. I play the oud. I asked her to let me hear her voice, so she sent me this.
الفويس هذا جوا في
Visibly moved, Anas doesn't know if he will ever see her again.
7 سنين لما اجت على المعهد وكبرت عندنا في المعهد.
She joined the institute 7 years ago. She grew up there. Before the war, she was studying medicine. She was one of the top students.
فتدرس طب كانت.
Far from home, Makam's members cling to their music and memories of happier times in the lives they left behind in the Gaza Strip.
A Senegalese torchbearer for the summer's Olympic Games here in Paris hopes to also enlighten corners of our collective memory. 90-year-old Oumar Diemé is a former Senegalese tirailleur, a corps of African infantrymen who fought for France during the World Wars, but whose sacrifices have often been forgotten or diminished. Our team reports.
Celebrated by his native village, Oumar Diemé has been chosen to carry the Olympic flame in France next July. A surprise and a source of pride for this 90-year-old.
They said, "You've been chosen. What do you think?" It took me a few minutes to realize, and I said yes. It's an honor for me.
Oumar Diemé proudly shows his medals. He enrolled in the army in 1953. The same year, he was sent to Vietnam, where he fought for France, and then later Algeria. That's where he was when he heard of Senegal's independence in 1960. Today, his brother couldn't be prouder.
We couldn't dare to dream of such a thing. It first surprised us. But actually, it's not hard to believe, given the values he embodies.
With 2 months to go before the big day, the lucky man can't avoid thinking about his comrades who fell in battle or have since died.
My companions from Indochina, Algeria, and even the National Army. Many have served the National Army. They are no longer here. So if God lets me get this far, all I can do is thank the good Lord.
Oumar Diemé will carry the flame in Bondy, a Paris suburb where he lived before returning to Senegal last year. According to the organizers, this will be an important moment in history, a moment that the former rifleman has asked to share with his son.
Well, that's it for Across Africa for now. Thanks very much for joining us, and do so again if you can. Till then, take care.
Special event with weekly programs and special guests.
C'est la fête, le sport, et il faut que ça reste comme ça.
The opening of the Olympic Games is getting closer.
C'est bientôt, soyez prêts.
Destination Paris with France 24.
The history of our world is ever-changing. The flow of information is constantly increasing. We cover all subjects. We verify. We commit. On the ground, in all circumstances, to anticipate the future by understanding the present. We are with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. France 24, an alternative look at the news.
Liberté, égalité, actualité.